Today, it is so sad that it's not the females, the males, the females who are packing and leaving home. It is fathers.
Yeah. Allow me at this juncture to thank our fathers. And as you've mentioned, they take many forms and faces. We have biological fathers, foster fathers, we have adoptive fathers, we have spiritual fathers, and most importantly, we have our all-in-all Father, the eternal one, our Heavenly Father. How beautiful. Thank you to all our fathers. And most importantly, thank you to God our Father. What are your views regarding the statistics of fatherlessness in Kenya and in Africa?
It is so, I would be very hard on this because it is pathetic. Why do I use that word? We have more of what we call absentee fathers. How I wish fathers came home. The reason we are in a hurting world is because we have absconded our duties. Today, it is so sad that it's not the females, the males, the females who are packing and leaving home. It is fathers.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It is so sad. It is so sad. We are absconding our quote-unquote the beloveds for no apparent reason. You notice a man has just walked away with his children. It is so painful. And gives us a generation of young people who are saying fathers are irresponsible, which should not be the case.
Sure.
And that's why I'm saying something has to be done because, like you put in it in your opening remarks, you go to all, leave the prisons to the courtrooms. You see how many young people are in cups, being put before magistrates, judges, and
Sure.
why? Because of crimes. What is the end game? The blame is not the young people.
Sure.
The blame is the societal problem where fathers have just run away. We are not, these young people have nobody to look up to, nobody to reprimand them, nobody to be able to correct them. When I was growing up, a young person was belonged to the society where you make a mistake anywhere and anybody around about you will correct you on the spot. And therefore, this is a culmination of all this.
Sure.
Some people are saying it's because lives have become very difficult, but that's not an excuse in Africa.
Sure.
Globally, we are living in difficult times.
Sure.
So that's not a reason for men to run away from home, for men to be able to abscond from their duties, and which is very central, taking care of their families. At this point, maybe as we talk about fatherhood, mothers are also so essential.
Yeah.
I lost my mother, I mentioned, when I was 7 years.
Yeah.
And that did not stop me from looking for a mother who would be able to foster me, who will speak in my life. I respect parental, and all of them both are equal.
Sure.
We are not saying that for the single ladies out there, you can't make it. But we are just saying, in proper growth, introduce your children to a personality they would call a father. It could be a brother. It could be your uncle. But let them be able to know that for this case, let's look up to so and so. And when you are choosing who should be able to model for your children, make sure they are men of integrity.
Absolutely.
They are men of values.
Sure. How awesome. And thank you to all the mothers who play the role of a father and the role of a mother in providing for their families in taking care of their children. But as you've heard, it is important to get a male figure who will be the role model for your children so that they have a male figure to emulate,
Yes.
a father in the house.
Yes.
That can take many shapes, as you've heard. It can be your brother, it can be your uncle, but make sure it's a person of integrity.
Absolutely.
How profound. There is increasing divorce and separation cases.
Yes.
Is that in the Christian fraternity, or is it only out there in the world?
Cutting across, whether you're in church or outside church.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is, how did you grow up? If this young man who grew up with a mother does not go through what I would call counseling, to help them be able to understand, they would want to be able to behave like mothers because they were brought up by a mother.
Mm-hmm.
So two mothers in the same house who fight, they will struggle.
Yeah.
The young people who are growing up, who grew up with fathers without mother, they have no idea how they would be able to behave themselves where there's a mother because they grew up without one.
It is true.
And that's why we began by saying it's all about model. If you lived with a father who was abusive, it's most likely that the young man will be abusive to the wife.
It is true.
And that's why we are saying we must stand up to the occasion to correct all the mistakes. It is not hard. It begins by one.
Yeah.
We're not saying everybody must be able to come. No. Let's be able to be change makers. Let's bring change.
Yeah.
And especially in our society. I wouldn't want to be divorced that in church there are no separations or divorces.
Mm-hmm.
And especially from where I sit. Because I'm part of, on my desk, we have quite a number of people who are on my desk. Why? Because their marriages are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
They're living through abuses. Their marriages are violent. And when you follow through, you notice that their struggle is not now. Their struggle is how they were brought up.
Yeah.
And that's why I commend what you do, to help us to be able to give a little thought on where is the place of a father and where is the place of a mother. Where is the place of parental and guidance in our society.
Absolutely. Role models, the role of role models in the upbringing of our children, in families, the role of fathers and mothers in the upbringing of our children. And something that you say and you mentioned and makes me a bit tickled is the fact that we need to correct the wrongs that we have done. Do you feel that so many of us are hiding, even when we're in marriages that are struggling, and that we need to go back to the roots? And how can we do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are living a lie. We are living in a pretense.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. What just because we don't appreciate psychological counseling. Is the reason we are hurting. And especially when you talk about the abuses that are present in television, there are people who are killing one another, they are butchering one another, there's this and that. You open a television and the news is not news. The news is the bad news. It is because of unresolved abuses that we went through. We don't appreciate counseling, working out what we went through when we were growing up. So it becomes a replica of what we were. We lived in abuse. You will be able to take care and bring up a family that is abused. You lived in a community or a family where there was a lot of Vagla language. You will see the children speak Vagla language. It is all about how did you grow up? We must be so keen on the environments of where we grow our children. Some of places where we grow our children is so toxic. And it comes to play many years later.
Yeah.
When they are now grown up.
Yes.
Say, how come I'm not in this character? Your child grew up in the society where the character was evident.
Yes.
Yes.
My story, your story, our story. daGoh, daughter after God's own heart.